Some might call it the Great Disappearing Act. Many Democrats are doing just about anything to make the Afghanistan debacle vanish from the national conversation. That's the case many Republicans are making. Well, Chris Wallace has written a brand new book. It's called Countdown Bin Laden. It's published next Tuesday, and Chris Wallace is with us now. How you doing, sir? Good morning to you. Congratulations on the book. I'm going to ask you a specific question in a moment after I get to this. New Marist polling on President Biden. He has gone to 51% disapprove. Chris, that is a significant swing in a month's time. What do you think of that?
Well, you know, people watch the news, people follow what's going on in the world, and they're not very happy. I think primarily in this last month, it's being driven by our pullout from Afghanistan. Not the policy decision, but the execution. And, you know, you can call it debacle, mess, screw up, whatever you want. But I think the general feeling of the American public is, quite rightly, that they didn't handle it well at all. And we end up with 100 or 200 Americans there, tens of thousands of Afghan allies. People don't like it. In addition, Delta, COVID, inflation, crime, the border, you know, the president's honeymoon has definitely ended, and he's going to have to turn things around if Democrats are going to hold on to the House and Senate next year.
There's a long list.
Sam. Fair question. We know he's going to be speaking from the White House, Chris, in a short time from now on this latest economic report, the jobs report, a big miss as far as added jobs in the latest month. A lot of blame being placed on the Delta surge, but we'll see. Storm damage. The president's traveling to Louisiana later today to survey some of those hard-hit areas. But how much will this White House be held accountable? How much do you believe we will hear from this White House? For example, Griff Jenkins reporting this morning, where is the update on any more of these Americans getting out of Afghanistan after our last troops left? It was a promise the White House made.
Well, it's certainly a fair question. You know, we pulled out, I guess Monday, our time. It's now Friday, and that's a big question. Have some of those Americans gotten out, half of the Afghan allies? I think, Sandra, two things can be true at the same time. One, that this White House very much wants to change the subject from Afghanistan. They can read those polls, too. But on the other hand, you know, these are legitimate subjects. The president generally talks about the jobs numbers. He's going down to Louisiana today, and the fact is more than 50 of our fellow Americans were killed, whether down on the Gulf Coast or in the Northeast. And, of course, you've got Texas and the abortion law, the Supreme Court. Those are all legitimate subjects. Do I think the White House would rather be talking about them than Afghanistan? Absolutely.
Let's talk about your book. The subtext is the 247-day hunt to bring the mastermind of 9/11 to justice. So in that 247 days, Chris, you got eight and a half months, right? So the book begins, these guys come to Leon Panetta at the time. This is August 27, 2010. Bin Laden is not taken out till May 1st of 2011. What did you learn during that 8 months that either gave them that pause or eventually finally convinced them?
Well, it's a very good question. What gave them the pause is they weren't sure, and they weren't sure until the very end, even when the SEALs went into the compound, whether bin Laden was actually there. They were never able. It was a circumstantial case. His former courier was there. There was this guy, the pacer, that was walking around in circles. But they never had hard evidence that it was bin Laden was there. And there were a lot of reasons not to. They were going to have to go 162 miles into Pakistan. They weren't going to tell the Pakistanis about it because they didn't trust them not to tell bin Laden if he was there. You had Navy SEALs going in. There were all kinds of possibilities. The helicopters would be shot down. Quite frankly, they had remembered Jimmy Carter and the failed hostage rescue in Iran in 1980. This is a year before Obama's re-election effort, so he could have been betting his presidency on it. There were all kinds of reasons. First of all, the intel to get us the most solid case possible that bin Laden is there. They never had proof positive. Then when they decided to do the raid, they had to rehearse and rehearse and rehearse with the Navy SEALs. And then when Obama makes the decision on April 28th, and some people are saying, well, there's a 40% chance is there. Somebody says there's an 80% chance. Obama dismisses it all and says, you know what, it's a 50-50 proposition. Either he's there or he's not there. And they send the SEALs out. And the SEALs say, I interviewed Rob O'Neill, the man who actually kills bin Laden. He says, we thought this was a suicide mission. We absolutely thought if bin Laden is there, we're not coming back.
Wow.
It's a one-way ticket, because when we get to the compound, it's going to be booby-trapped. It's going to blow up. There are going to be guards. They're going to take us out. But it's worth doing if we can get the mastermind of 9/11.
Chris, real quickly, since writing this book, we've all lived through the history of the ending of this war, the withdrawal that we all just saw. Do you worry about a terrorist like him being able to now thrive in Afghanistan since our troops got out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I mean, when you consider the fact that the reason we went in 9/11 is because the Taliban gave safe harbor to al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda's been seriously degraded. And one of the things about this book, as bad as the withdrawal was, the fact is that we did something very important on May 1st, 2011. We took out bin Laden. We degraded al-Qaeda. There was never a terror attack on the homeland in these 20 years that emanated from Afghanistan. But, you know, Taliban, the group that was in charge on 9/11 is back in charge now. Al-Qaeda is back. ISIS-K is back. Sure, there's a very real, clear and present danger. But this is a case study, this history thriller, of how, as badly as we handled the last month, how well we handled the bin Laden raid when the intel, military, and political communities worked together.
A week from tomorrow is 9/11, 20 years, and all this is going to come back. Chris, thank you. Good luck this
Thank you,
weekend,
Chris.
and we'll be watching. Thank you. On this Sunday, Congressman Michael McCaul is one of Chris's guests. He's the top Republican House Foreign Affairs Committee, so check out Wallace on Sunday. Thank you, Chris.